Hi, my name is Brian. This will be the first time I ever made a video, but someone's been close to my life, has become a good friend of mine. Has told me I should start documenting the things I've been through, and things that I'm going through, and the places I'm heading. Um, there'll be more videos to come, and this will be more of a workout motivational thing. But to give you a brief history, 2 years ago, July. Um, Actually, if we'll go back to June. June on Father's Day. I've hit rock bottom in my life at that point. That day I tried to kill myself. There were scars on my arm to show that. It's not something that I'm ashamed of anymore. Um, and you'll find out soon why. Um, at that point in time, my wife had left me. My children at the time were starting not to speak to me anymore. I had a bad cocaine problem, and I literally just didn't want to live anymore. God chose that day to not let me end it. And at that point, you start to figure out why. Start to think why. I would go on for the next month and a half and honestly do more drugs than I've done in my entire life in that month and a half, and I've done for the 15 years of my drug-induced life. Alcohol. Um, I didn't grow up with Jesus. Um, Literally up until July is the date I told you. I would have told you there was not a God. Um, my wife, she was with another guy, and I ended up getting a girlfriend, and we go on our ways. But July 22nd, 2018, something happened that day, and as I start to tell my testimony more and more nowadays, I realize what it really is about. God gave me one gift that day. And I would tell people all the time that, God saved my life. But, the more I talk to people, I have a friend that particularly says it best that I still had a choice. And that's the thing. We all have choices in life. Um, yeah, God saved me. But what God did that day, and I know what He did now. That day, July 22nd, 2018, I would look myself in the mirror and would flash before my eyes. And it was, it seemed like forever at the time, but it maybe lasted 30 seconds. It was everything terrible I've ever done in my entire life. To everyone, to myself, to my family, to strangers. And that's what hit me. Looking back on it now, I know what God was doing. And there was always a spiritual war going on in our brains. And at that point, I think truly now what He was doing was knowing that all the left turns I kept taking towards evil one, that this is what would make me take the right. And that day I did make a choice. I did call my wife and I told her this would end. With that being said, from that day on, it's been a battle. Just constant struggle. I struggle with PTSD. I almost did die on the job about 3 years ago, but it's something that just intensified everything that was going on. And it's never easy. People look at what I've accomplished in my life in the past year, and sometimes it's unbelievable to me. I always try to give God the credit, but at some point in time, we have to give ourselves the credit. We do have free will, and that's something I wouldn't say I struggle with, but that's something that I think we all need to come to terms with. Even when we start to, whether you grew up with Jesus, you grew up with God, you believe in God or you don't believe in God, it's something that we have to understand that just because something happens to us doesn't mean that it needs to be the end of us, whether for better or good. It doesn't have to define us. We make our own destiny, and I've chose by my own free will to continue to use and expand out what God has done for me. People think this is easy. I had someone ask me not too long ago, you know, how'd you get over your PTSD? How'd you get past your wife cheating on you? How'd you get better? How'd you quit doing drugs? And the thing is you never get better. This is a battle that goes on every day, and I choose to fight the evil one with that battle. And fighting him is not, it's never simple. This is a constant battle. And until we learn that we don't ever get better, we just learn to fight it. We learn to fight it better. And that's what this is. You know, and I plan to make more videos, and you guys will learn more about me as time goes on. But, you know, I guess today, just to sum it up, and we fast forward for, you know, a year and a half, almost 2 years now. Today I had surgery on my arm for the second time. I broke my arm in October of 2018. And I had surgery on it for the first time on Halloween of 2018. Everybody kept telling me, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, keep adding the gas to the fire. That's all you're doing for me. And I welcome these people. Keep telling me what I can't do. At that point in time, I just started losing weight. I weighed 245 pounds. Going back into June when I tried to take my own life, and at that point, I was down to 95, 200 pounds, and I started to feel bad, like depressed. Like, well, what do I do now? My arm's broke. I can't keep working out. And someone mentioned me start running. And it's like, well, why? Well, because that's all I could do at the time. So then it starts from there. I start running. I start doing elliptical things. I'm still at that point afraid to run. I would never run outside. I would always have an excuse. It's too cold. It hurts my lungs. I get a sore throat. All this. We always give ourselves excuses of why we can't do the things that, God's already gave us the ability to do. We just got to make that choice to do it. So then it comes down to we come into February, and at this point my arm's still not healed, and now I start to really panic. I start to get afraid, because we always get afraid. We always go backwards at some point, and we don't tend to go backwards. But what we do is the evil one wants us to know that he's still there, and he'll give us those doubts. He'll give us those excuses to stop doing what we're trying to do in our life and what God has predicted for us that's already going to happen. So someone said, just, run more, run a race. So I would go to run on my first 10K. I wouldn't say I did amazing, but I finished. And at that point, I'd never ran over 4 miles in my life, and I would still, at that point, still had excuses why I wouldn't do this and I wouldn't do that. So then it's where we go from there. Well, the goal's always got to be so big that it's unattainable in my own eyes, because a goal that's attainable is easily reached. So the goal has to be bigger than what we are. And I think if we know that we can accomplish that goal, then what's the point of setting that goal? And that's maybe not for everybody's thinking, but I think that's the problem, is that if we set it the bar is so low, well, then it's so easy to make, and then it's easy to give. And that's not what I needed. And to be a recovery drug addict, I needed something more in my life. I needed something to feed that addiction. I needed something to feed that energy. I needed something to